Got smoke in here? Just kidding.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Talk Junkies. Sorry, I had to clear my throat there. Thank you, Dr. John Muir, for coming on last week. If you guys missed last week's show, definitely swing back over to our YouTube channel. Check out the podcast we did last week with Dr. John Muir. Very interesting subjects that we talked about in that podcast with him. And still some more podcasts to come with him to kind of clear some things up and finish what we were talking about with him. It will be exciting stuff. So thank you.
What you got ping-ponging on your computer over there?
I don't know, man. I have no idea. Some cool stuff. But anyways, tonight we're going to delve into some very interesting topics. Right now we want to go with what's hot, and we're getting really, really close to the end of the elections, right? Well, it's already ended, allegedly, but there's still some things that Trump supporters are holding on to, right?
The elections are over, man.
For sure, that's fine. I completely understand what you're saying, and so January 6th is whenever they take the votes, and then that's whenever they put it into play, and that's whenever he's technically president. Technically,
I thought it was January 21st.
Well, the inauguration, but January 6th is whenever they count the electoral votes in Congress, in the House.
Gotcha.
Or in the Senate. I can't remember. I think it's the House. But there's a lot of crazy things that are being said on the internet, right? And you can look on left-wing platforms, or you can look on right-wing platforms, and you can kind of just, pick your poison, see what's going on, and then whatever echo chamber you want to live in and be consumed with. So what I want to kind of pick your guys' brain about is, General Flynn, which was one of the guys who got arrested throughout this whole process, he has told Trump that he should invoke martial law.
Arrested for what?
I can't remember why Flynn. It was something within, like, he lied to the FBI, and then the FBI threatened to arrest it or like do something to his son. I can't remember.
Okay.
And he ended up just taking the fall basically for something that happened within the Trump campaign during the presidency about a conversation he had with some Russian diplomats, or I can't remember, something like that. But anyways, he said whenever Trump pardoned him recently in the past like couple weeks, and he's been out and he's been doing campaigns or having these big speeches in front of large crowds, but he actually came out and he said that Trump should invoke martial law, right, in the swing states where these votes, where they've seen alleged voter fraud and stuff like that. He should invoke martial law in those states, seize the Dominion computers or what have you, and figure out what it is, or you know what I'm saying? Basically, make sure that the election is 100%.
Man, but then there's a problem there too. If you were to actually do that, I'm going to leave the martial law thing alone for a second because there's a ton of other issues that come with that.
Yeah.
But let's simply looking at him taking over the computers and looking at the results. Then there's room for what do you call that? There's room for swing right there too, or corruption, for them to change stuff.
Yeah, no, that's very true. But so I don't know. I don't know the answer. Like, do they live stream when they're doing this? I think this whole process should be live streamed.
No, the answer should be go back to like
paper ballots.
No, to how every other country does it, which is where when you have a ballot and it's being counted in your local courthouse, any civilian can just come in there and watch the count.
Right. But
why do we keep it so secretive?
But the thing
is, that's ridiculous. It's an open. I'm the one voting.
No, but it's typically not. And this is and there has been voter fraud obviously throughout history. But what I'm saying is, like, with COVID and all the things that are happening, they're only allowing like 3 Democrats and 3 Republicans to oversee. No, and there's discrepancies.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There should be civilian oversight. Like, literally, you take like Germany, which is a completely fine country that does everything just okay right now, for the most part, at least what I know of it. And I'm just using that as an example. There's pretty much tons of other democratic republic countries that do the same thing, which is, hey, we've got all the votes for this city, or this, maybe they do it by county, whatever it is, all the votes for this county, and you can come here to the courthouse and watch them count the votes. You can watch them pick up and say, hey, this is what this one's for, and put it in this pile. I'm oversimplifying, obviously.
For sure, yeah. But
why can't we do that? Why is this not an open thing?
Okay, I can express what I think about whenever you talk about Germany, because of what they had to go through on a government level, where pretty much the rest of the world was like, you were doing something really bad, and now they have to walk on eggshells.
But I'm not talking about. But man, I threw out Germany. But France, let's go with France. Whatever. Like, dude, there's so many other countries. You can look up a list out of like the top 28 Democratic Republic countries, and as far as the top 28 Democratic Republic countries as far as population goes, or maybe it's gross national income, something like that. Whatever it is, the top 28. We're in the top 28. We're like number 22 or whatever on this list. Out of all of them, it's us and like one other country
So
that have the secretive voting.
But
right. So let me hit.
So it's not just Germany, and it's not just. I get what you're talking about, Jesse, but it's
okay.
not just that.
Let me hit it from a different angle. Real fast. Sorry, Jesse. So basically what I'm saying is in those swing states, they want to, invoke martial law, blah, 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 just to make sure that the voting. So we all know, and I think we've all agreed that there's been, in the past, voter fraud and
There's
stuff
always
like that.
voter fraud every single time there's an election.
But I think like right now, and from what I've seen myself, specifically, and I've watched a lot of videos and actual video footage, and there's this video in Georgia that came out a couple weeks ago, and this was like a part of the Kraken, right? And it shows all the people counting votes, and it's like 9-10 o'clock at night, and someone calls this lady. She picks up her phone, and they're like, "Hey, everyone needs to leave. We're done counting for the night." So a time lapse of 20 minutes goes by, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone leaves, and then the poll watchers, they end up leaving, and there's like 6 or 7 people still there. They never left. Then allegedly, maybe she got another phone call and said, "Hey, keep counting." And they were counting votes, like 24,000 votes, with no one observing. And they pulled ballot boxes out from underneath the table that were sealed. And then they started counting those. So what I'm saying is,
No, I see the issues.
Right.
I see the issues. I'm just saying, I bet that has been a thing for a long time.
For sure.
Which is what goes back to what I said. The inherent problem is that you're not allowing the public, the voters, the people who it is. What's the fucking first line of the Constitution or the whatever it is? Like,
we the people.
Yeah, I think that's actually what. Anyways, the whole thing is, we the people are the government, right? Like,
right.
Why are we not allowed to be involved in this?
Exactly.
In fact, in general, just a generalized statement, why are we so under-involved in the government anyways? And they throw us this bone that they call voting, but then that's fake anyways, it seems like.
I'm almost done. I'm sorry. So what I'm saying is you see all these things, and then you see like that kind of, and it's never been on this scale, right? To where everyone's aware of it. Granted, we know
that's the big difference is the awareness.
Right.
So I wouldn't say it's never been on this scale. I'd say the awareness has never been on this scale.
Exactly. And now when you have these things going to court, and then it eventually hits the Supreme Court, and then they say, "Hey, we're not going to look into this." Like, isn't that what they're there for? They're the highest power and law of the land. They should at least look at it and determine something, whether or not it's fair or not, or whether this was a legitimate election. And the question arises to me, and I could be wrong in all of this, and just the question in my head, and after just seeing a lot of things that are happening right now, is the global takeover from China. And it's been ongoing, like we talked about when we were outside, how deep China has had ties within the United States, how much land they bought up, and this is happening in all other countries, not just the United States. How much product we use, anything you buy is from China. We've talked about that in the podcast before. Is it possible that they've infiltrated our system at such a high level that this is the result, what we're seeing right now, that they could actually overthrow an election? And they could actually pick the winner of the United States election.
Isn't the same thing we were talking about 4 years ago, though?
Yeah, well,
was China involved in the election 4 years ago? Isn't that an actual topic that was on mainstream
media?
No,
it was Russia. It was Russia.
Okay,
with,
Russia.
with Trump.
Sorry, but that's my point.
But
this
they
is all on repeat. This is the shit that we deal with year after year. There's nothing new here.
I understand that, but in that aspect, in all fairness, and I didn't watch any of the proceedings, they did a 4-year basically investigation throughout the whole Trump administration, and they never found any Russian collusion, right? So what I'm saying right now, I think China has way more influence than Russia. I think that's pretty plain and simple, with how big they are economically in a world powerhouse, and they're trying to take over, and they may already have taken over as the number one global economy.
Why does China have that powerhouse?
Communism, I don't know. I mean,
it's cheap labor.
Right.
It's literally like enslavement almost. Because you can outsource things to this country, which have less morals than us. But if we had kids fucking 12 years old working, 10-hour fucking days, we wouldn't be okay with that here.
No, absolutely
not. But no, at this other country, we're much more than willing to give them our money to make sure that our iPhones get made, and we can have the product. That's why it's outsourced to China.
Yeah.
And we're all involved in that. And China was begging for a revolt pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, there was millions
In Hong Kong, yeah.
in Hong Kong, out on the street. Which, by the way, everybody's fucking forgot about. That,
Yeah, the extradition crisis and all
no,
that.
No,
Yeah.
Guess how much you get to see that on CNN and Fox News and your local news anymore. No, people screaming for, I want to be a human being like everybody else in the world, basically, and people in America were backing it up, and then COVID fucking hits. And then go figure, nobody's talking about the human rights issue in fucking China. Like, that always bothered me.
So I
it's
think-
weird timing. It was always weird timing. Like, looking back, me thinking about that, I'm like, man, millions of people protest. Their protests were fucking huge.
Massive, yeah.
Dude, you talk
They were
about...
actually getting traction too. That's the big
Dude,
thing.
No, they were getting traction. Like, it spread even... even Europe was spreading, like... to shit as far as like better rights for the
In France,
individual.
yeah.
Whatever happened with the yellow vest movement?
Yeah, no, the
There's
yellow
still-
vest
it's still
movement.
going on, yeah.
But
You don't
I mean,
hear about it.
I mean, you
Vaguely,
talk
yeah.
about something that got halted really quick. Was, man, we are fighting for our freedoms here.
So are we not fighting for our freedoms right now? Okay, and
Okay.
that's the biggest question for me. Hold on,
So
before you,
let me ask you a bigger question: is before you fight for your own freedoms, how about fight for somebody else's? Because if they get their freedoms, you're almost guaranteed your own.
Well, I'm talking about in our country. I'm not talking about in another country.
We're more unified than that. I think people realize that now.
As a population, yes, we're unified, but governmentally, they're the ones in control. I don't-
Governmentally, we're so intertwined that our governments are completely intertwined.
Yeah, to think that our government doesn't have an effect on theirs and vice versa
Like
is
I talked about a world economy
asinine at this point.
and why. Okay, I've said this before on a podcast. Whenever I said there won't be a World War III because you're literally be shooting yourself in the fucking foot by fighting another country.
Well, so no, check this out. And
Economically,
no,
that's what would happen.
So this is where you're wrong, though, because for some reason China and Australia are in some sort of tiff, and there are sanctions. And China either refuses to buy coal from Australia, and they're having power outages right now in the dead of winter, where people are losing power because they refuse to buy coal from Australia.
This is problems with corporations trying to figure out who can get the best buck, basically, for the resources, and who can make more money. Because somebody's not willing to settle for $5 billion when they want 10, and they're only willing to pay 4, and then you have a shutdown, and it's between realistically like 30 individuals in one country and 30 individuals in another country. I'm talking about the underlining massive force that actually works, the billions of people that actually work. That's what I'm talking about right now.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about the Hong Kong protest. And they're literally just wanting, if you saw their living scenario, some of these fucking people,
It's bad.
you should be outraged as an individual that these people work, by the way, twice as much as you, pay twice as much in fucking taxes, and cannot even save a fucking dollar because ramen costs fucking so much over there. All that, like, it's awful.
It is awful, and they tried to do what they did, and you're right, it got stopped in its tracks. But
Maybe this should be my rant tonight, is about let's not forget about fucking Hong Kong. And not forget about those people fighting for their fucking rights.
But that story is everywhere, and we know the overarching theme. My question is, it's finally, and it has been, but it's finally coming to light that the Chinese influence has been in America for a long time. They're actually slowly building an empire and taking over the whole world type of shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's what they are doing. And what I'm saying is, it's so far fetched to think. And this is just a question. I'm not implying. I'm not implying.
Can I ask you a question real quick,
Hold
Paul?
on. Yes.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think that President Trump's beef with China was a moral one or a financial one?
I have no idea.
His, in my opinion, was a
Probably
financial one. It was a financial one, not a moral one.
How's that?
Because he was worried about the tariffs, not the people. If the tariffs would have been worked out and he would have got his money, he would still let the people suffer. And I'm not saying this as a hater of Donald Trump, because any person in political power in the United States would have done the same thing. because they're all ran through financial means.
What I'm saying, he's put sanctions on China, which no president's really ever done.
Because he realized
We were getting raped.
No. He absolutely realized that there was so much more money. Like, there was so much more money to be had there. We're outsourcing steel. We're outsourcing all of this shit to you, and you're selling it back to us, and he realized that. It's a money thing. It had nothing to do with the people. What I say is if you look first and foremost at the people and worry about the morality that's there and their well-being as far as them to have a living wage, which we're almost lacking in the fucking United States right now. This is my whole thing. I'm going off on a tangent right now. If you can help China and they can become free people, you wouldn't have so much of an issue here in the United States too. Because then political people can't get away with the same shit. Is all I'm saying. If you help out, because if China gets away with their shit, guess what? Now political fucking people view that as, oh man, we could be doing the same shit as China. We could keep the rich and man, the poor even poorer, and they're still going to work for us. And who gives a fuck if half of them fucking die? Who gives a shit? Population's too fucking high anyway. We could do all this, and now we can restructure this whole thing. We're control all this. I hate that mentality. People are important first. People are important first. Our government societies do not view it that way. Help China. Help China first.
For sure. Well, who knows who to help first, right? I'm not saying that's...
But nobody's talking about fucking China anymore. God damn it.
No, a lot of people are talking about China, but not the Chinese people. You're right. It's strictly about the influence that they have right now in American politics. So what I'm asking you, and Jesse, yes, my heart goes out to the homeless people that live in the United States. It goes out to third world countries, to countries that we've invaded and bombed for who knows what reasons. Like, my heart goes out to all those people. There's a video of a Syrian dad who...
What was your stimulus, Paul? What was your stimulus? What did you get? Your taxpayer money literally bailed out all the CEOs in fucking America, basically, outside of the cruise lines. Outside of the cruise lines, they still had to suffer a little bit. I mean, they only made like 1.2 million as opposed to making like 3 million, with the stimulus package. And then you got how much? How much did you get?
Breadcrumbs, man.
Breadcrumbs.
Yeah.
$1,200, right?
Per person, yeah, plus $600 for each child.
Laughable.
Right.
Laughable fucking amount of money. Who was not upset at that amount of money that everybody had to pay for?
Yeah, but what about keeping what about unemployment that rolled on for 3 months when people were making a $75,000 a year wage and unemployment for 3 months? What about that? Because that existed, and that people took advantage of that, and
people who make $75,000 a year are not well off.
But
those people are day to day. They're going to the same gas station that I fucking go to.
They're
going to the same gas station that the homeless person down the road is buying his fucking...
Do you understand, like, whenever people during COVID that were collecting unemployment were making just as much money as I was as a manager, as a general manager?
Crazy? We were making more,
Paul. Here's the thing. You shouldn't be mad at them. That's the thing. You shouldn't be mad at them for making that money.
I'm not mad.
You should be mad that you're not making more.
For sure. No. I'm not trying to go down that road. I completely understand what you're saying. Yes, the big corporations did benefit, probably majority.
Definitely the most, not probably.
They threw it in our fucking face last year.
Yeah.
They threw it in our fucking face. They said, you get fucking scraps. Good luck. Good luck. And if you die, sorry about you. We're going to keep doing what we're doing. And then the rich literally increased everyone's... Jeff Bezos, fucking... Who's that fucking motherfucker who owns Facebook?
Mark Zuckerberg.
Mark Zuckerberg literally increased their fucking profits exponential as everybody else.
It's been over $1 trillion.
Sat around and fucking suffered and worked hard to keep this country fucking running.
Yes, it's been.
But nobody's knocking at the gate.
Hold on, it's been over.
Nobody's knocking at the fucking gate saying, "What the fuck is up with this?"
So this is
and we had 2008. We had the market crash, the housing fucking crash, and nobody knocked at the fucking gate. Guess what? They go, okay, we can. Oh wait, we got away with 2008.
So hold on. Let's slow it down for just 1 second. Yes, you're right.
We'll go fucking down.
Hold on. They've accumulated over $1 trillion in wealth throughout COVID-19. Mm-hmm. There's no denying that. I'm saying all the billionaires. It's been over.
Say the number again.
Over $1 trillion.
Over $1 trillion in wealth. As everybody else just sat back and make sure that this country fucking ran.
Right.
And you got $1,200. And everybody was happy
I
with their
don't- I don't-
$1,200
hold on.
fucking dollars
Hold on. So there's a couple things is what I'm trying to say.
of
What-
your own money.
So what I would say to that is one thing that
Which you'll have to pay for.
one thing what I would say about that is the point that Johnny always brings up is the fact that we're the ones who continue just to be okay and complacent with that.
Yep.
And
It's our fault.
And we've always all and if you listen to Talk Junkies, we're always a big proponent on just that subject matter in itself. And it's hard. It's going to be hard. Throughout the massive propaganda that's happened throughout the United States over a long period of time to get people to understand that. So you're right, Jesse. Hold on. You're right. We need to hit home on the subjects that matter the most. 100%. There's an unfortunate part about that with Google and censorship and shadow banning on YouTube and stuff like that. But my overarching question at the beginning of this topic, whenever we first started, was my question to you is, and you kind of made me switch my mind, the gears of my mind and stuff with the stimulus, is. If Trump, let's say, we're just saying for fun's sake, that he's legitimately trying to go against the establishment and he understands that China has infiltrated our country and our politics and our government, and he's actually legitimately trying to change that and go back to the Constitution.
Which I don't believe any of that, but we're playing hypothetical here.
Correct. How hard would that be to do? What
Impossible.
It's not impossible.
Yes.
I'm just saying, remember, this is hypothetical.
I know, and I in your hypothetical situation, you're saying that he is all for good, and that he is actually trying to do these things, and he wants to do these things. And my answer to your question is impossible. We're too far gone from that, man. We are one world economy. If you don't think the whole New World Order, one world economy doesn't exist right now, you're ridiculous.
It's already happened.
The corporations that donate money to the super PACs and all these stuff for our politicians are getting money from fucking China. Like, this has been a thing for years. Years and years. Dates back to the fucking 80s, probably sooner.
No,
What
I get
blows
that.
my mind, hold on. What blows my fucking mind, out of the fucking water, is you have these red-blooded Americans, red-blooded Republican Americans, screaming capitalism, fuck socialism, all this shit whenever Bernie Sanders tries to get into office. But then a bailout happens, and then it's literally socialism for fucking CEOs, and they're okay with it. So it's socialism for people with fucking money, and then capitalism for everybody else, and everybody fucking suffers. Who the fuck do you think you are, calling yourself a red-blooded fucking capitalist American? You back socialism the second that you're okay with a stimulus fucking package to an airline. Are you kidding me? You kidding? Who the fuck do you think you are? Oh, I'm so frustrated. Oh, I'm a red-blooded, white American fucking doing this. No, you are not. You're a fucking socialist that fucking supports socialism for the 1% and capitalism for fucking everybody else. Do not back up another bailout fucking ever if you're red-blooded. I'm a libertarian. I'm a red-blooded American. If your shit fucking fails because you fucked up, sorry about you. Somebody comes in, buys it for fucking pennies, gets fucking ran better. That is how fucking shit fucking works.
Yes,
That's my
capitalism.
fucking rant for the night. That's my rant.
But so
Tired of people talking about,
I
anti-socialism.
thought you said that was your rant, Jesse.
No, I'm tired of people talking about fucking socialism when you live in a socialist fucking nation and fucking corporations get bailed out and you fucking, that's what my president fucking says, so I take that for fucking, whatever fucking he is, because I back him up because it's my color. It's my color. It's my jersey.
Yes,
it's fucking what I wear. I'm so fucking over that.
No, I get it, bro.
Fucking educate
Jesse,
your fucking self.
Jesse.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Fucking educate your fucking
Tribalism.
self.
We already know how deep tribalism roots are here in the United States. Like we all understand that. What I'm saying is, how hard? And I know you said it's impossible, Johnny. I know you said it's impossible in today's age, but we can't. It can't be impossible. Like the system. If we're on the path and there's no turning back and it's too late, that China's already infiltrated us and they're going to take over, like it's the same thing.
No, that's not what I'm
We've
saying.
infiltrated our fucking self. What the fuck are you talking
Hold
about,
up.
man?
Jesse, hold up.
The fuck?
I'm not saying that China has already infiltrated us. You're looking at it wrong. You're looking at China and America as different sides. That's not what I'm saying at all. The people here in America, the corporations, the 1%, the billionaires upon billionaires, have already or are already and have already in the past been working. That's not two sides, man. They're on the same fucking team. They haven't infiltrated. It's all one fucking thing.
The history of man, and maybe that's been the case the whole time, is that there's always been that corporate oligarchy throughout history, and they've always worked that way. But if you minus that from the equation, there's always been a country that tries to dominate the world and take over the world.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't say for 100% fact that these top 1% from China and the United States are in cahoots and they want to take over. Like, those top 1% from China probably still want to take over the United States and have it be theirs.
I get what I'm saying to that is that top 1% that's wanting to take over and have it be theirs already has. Like, America and China are the same right now, man.
So
we're not different. There is differences in how people are treated. Yes, I will give you that and all that. But as far as like, I'm doing a really shit job of wording what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is, you talked about there are certain countries in the past that would try to dominate and take over other countries. You had the Romans go into Greece and Italy and all this kind of stuff. You had the Mongols go into Japan and everything and try to take that over. You have Spain and Portugal trying to find new lands and go and take over the Indians, which is Native Americans in North America. All this stuff is always happening. We are in a point in society where we found everything. Everything has been quote unquote conquered. We're in a digital age. So now this is happening behind the scenes. So your country, China, that is trying to take over everything, isn't a country. It is a group of people that has already done and been doing that. That's what I mean when I say America and China are the same.
So
that top group of people has already conquered and taken over.
So now we're painting a picture here. So now people understand what's happening behind the door, a little bit behind what's going on behind the doors or behind the scenes or whatever you want to say. So what I'm saying to that is, I know it's a Hail Mary. The fact that someone who comes in as a president, and I'm not talking about Donald Trump, I'm saying anyone in the future.
Okay.
Next president or the president after that.
They don't have enough power.
They have a lot of... Okay, just hear me out. It cannot be impossible to overturn that. There's nothing that's impossible in humanity.
Okay, I'll say it again. They do not have enough power. There is no president that is a multi-billionaire. There's no president that is in completely cahoots and has control. By the way, if there is a president that is getting a lot of money, they're getting it from the people who are already above them. They're not the ones stepping on everybody else with trillions of dollars. They're getting the trickle down and then making decisions for those other people.
For sure, but you have to understand, like, and maybe not you have to understand, sorry.
There's two things. If you want someone to take over and completely change anything, they need money, which equates to power in the modern day. So they already have to be a multi-billionaire, which any multi-billionaire, probably, I would say the majority, I'd say 99%, I'm sure there's one out there. Any multi-billionaire is probably not there for the little man or the common man or to help everybody. So they're not running for fucking office. They're not trying to be president. And then your other option, if you want stuff to change, is a complete and total crash and revolt. Those are really it. You get some great good that already has power, probably not going to happen, or you get some great crash and revolt, which I'm not asking for, but I'm saying that will eventually fucking happen, just like it did in Europe, just like it did with the Roman Empire, just like it did with all these things.
So it's impossible for someone who's president of the United States to overturn what is currently happening right now.
Yes. In my by the way, for all the viewers out there, obviously everything we talk about, you should know, it should go without saying that it's all opinion based unless we specifically quote things with facts. So this is obviously my opinion. In my opinion, for a elected official to come in and change things, no. Never. Impossible.
That's just a good way to look at anything that you're given, but not to take everything with a grain of salt. But
yeah, I was just getting that out there, the opinion thing. But no, to answer your question, Paul, yes, I truly believe that it is impossible for an elected official, whether it be Congress, president, whatever, to make any real lasting change.
For sure. And I agree with you because how big that group is, right? And how much of it coexists within each other. But what I'm saying is if one person tried to do it, you're right, it would be nearly impossible. But nearly impossible, right? And I'm playing devil's advocate here a little bit. I'm not saying that I believe that Trump is the savior and he's going to invoke martial law in these states.
No, you said hypothetical.
Yeah. Hold on. Let's just say that he has to do a lot of things to just make it seem like he's with the status quo to then at one point actually do something to switch it back to the way it used to be or the way it should be.
Wait, can you repeat that one more time? I missed the first part of that.
You have to play ball, right? And he's making people...
Yeah, okay, I get what you're saying. You have to play ball.
He's getting money. He's talking to these 1%, or maybe, you know what I'm saying? Just saying, yeah, like, that's all good. You know, like, I'm still president. I can still do, like, a national emergency. I still have access to 80 million Americans on my Twitter. People have access and know.
But
what
if
the
it wasn't
president's saying.
something that, and man, this is making me sound like a huge conspiracy theorist, which I'm normally. You're more the conspiracy theorist, and I'm not. But man, if that was something that he was capable of doing, not him as in Trump, him or her as in the president in general, it could be 20 years from now, whoever the president is. If that is something that they were capable of doing, then they would do it. But I don't believe they're actually capable. You talk about them stepping in and making these national, like martial law and all these other things. Sure, they're capable of doing it only because they're allowed to fucking do it by this overarching they, which I hate using because once again, it makes me sound like a conspiracy theorist.
I think they're going to have a really big issue with our generation. They really will. So they're going to keep trying to do the same thing that they've been doing, but we're wise to it, and we fucking know. Our generation specifically will fucking battle against it.
I don't know, man. We think
man.
we're wise. We think we're wise, and we sit here and talk in front of these mics and think we're wise.
We're not stupid. We're not
You
stupid.
say that, but
We're
we
less
are.
than stupid. We're less than stupid.
But we are. We still go out there and fucking buy the new iPhone and still shop on Amazon for Christmas and still do all these things that are hurting us.
Yeah.
We still do all these
okay,
things.
Okay, you can still go through those mediums of getting your shit, but when it comes to politicians, we will eventually have an outright, this is fucking ridiculous.
Which is what I said earlier, right? Eventually you come to a
My
crash
parents-
and a revolt.
My parents were okay with 2008. Watching the housing market, literally the worst time for my parents to get into fucking any kind of buying shit was like 2005, buying all their properties and then just watch them decrease. So now they have to like battle back as all of the other motherfuckers who got bailed out. No, this is what's going to happen. They're going to anger too many people. Not enough people listen to this podcast where it'll even mean anything. But they're going to anger too many people. They're going to step on too many toes. And then eventually, the poor and the weak will eat the fucking rich. And eventually, that's what we're going to have to fucking do.
I don't know if you watch.
No,
if
because
you watch Altered Carbon, I don't know, and I feel like that's the direction we're heading in.
We'll eat the rich one day.
I feel like Altered Carbon's a good representation of what the future of the world is. Have you guys have seen it?
I mean, I agree with some things in there. Yes, I've seen it.
The concept. I'm not saying in
it's super
detail.
sci-fi.
Fat and flirt.
But what I'm saying is eventually they'll find out immortality, and then once that happens, the rich will be the ones who get it, and then they're going to build these massive empires. Eventually, like you said, but you're talking thousands of years, man.
I want to real quick chime in on something
for the slaughter.
I want to chime in on something that Jesse said when he said the whole, because that has been a thing. That's literally been like a hashtag on Twitter or some shit, is the whole eat the rich. I want to clarify that when we, and I'm going to speak for Jesse, even though I might be wrong. He can correct me.
You make $1 million, you're not rich.
Exactly. That's what I'm getting at. When you hear this whole eat the rich thing or whatever, if you're someone who makes $500,000 a year and you hear that and you're like scared or against that, you shouldn't be, because you're also on the poor side we're talking about.
Dude, I live the same life you do. I still drive a car to work. If you make $500,000 a year, you still drive a car to work,
actual
bro.
political power and influence. You're not flying your fucking G6 jet.
Like, no, it's to a clinic. Like, yeah, you take it to a clinic and you run your own clinic. Like, you're a doctor or whatever. We're honestly, we still fucking have wives, fucking kids and shit. Eat the same food nearly. I mean, you might have sushi like a lot more than I want more sushi. I can't afford it.
Eat the rich so I can eat my sushi.
So you get a little bit better shit. Nice sneakers than me. No, that's not what I'm. That's
Jesse,
not what we're talking about.
Jesse, real quick. The point I was getting at with the whole is that people here eat the rich and they get scared if they think they're the rich. The thing is, you're not the rich.
Not rich.
You're not.
Not
that's
rich.
not what this is about. It's the same thing. It's the same principle as when back in the day they were talking about raising minimum wage. I remember this specifically. It happening in front of me, watching people argue about this. You would have EMTs, ambulance drivers, firefighters, stuff like that that's very important to our society and works really hard, get mad and say, why should a burger flipper at McDonald's get a living wage when I can't get a living wage? Do not get mad at the burger flipper at McDonald's. Get mad at the people above you. And the same, if you're making $500,000 a year right now, do not get mad at the people saying eat the rich. Get mad at you're on a scale of 1 to 100. If they're at a fucking 2, you're at a fucking 5.
What are the
literally the guy that runs the company that I work for? I live the same day as him probably.
Yeah.
You probably wake up in the morning, have your girl close by, have your family, whatever, at your household, do your thing, get in your car. It's probably a nicer car. Probably has a nicer car.
But that doesn't matter. That's little material
What
things.
you're doing is, you're switching out material things. We're living the same life.
I know
we watch TV, watch Chiefs games, hang
out
get
with
involved,
friends.
talk about work, bitch about oh man, society, how society should change. We're all the same people there. We're talking about in upper echelon, the Jeff Bezos of the fucking world, like the trash, in my opinion. And honestly, Elon Musk is getting there for me too.
Yeah, 100%.
He is kind of the trash of the fucking world too.
Question real quick, and that involves what we're talking about. The fundamental principle of capitalism, is it beautiful? The fundamentals, the foundation of capitalism. Without humans involved, well, they're involved, but the basic principle of capitalism.
I've always said this. Uncorrupted capitalism is the best way to run a society. 100%.
But it will never exist.
But you can't have it because what happens is you have people who corrupt capitalism.
Could you add unbiased legislation to capitalism to make it more fair?
No, because then it gets paid off, and then you have the human construct, and then people like money, people like power, people like nice things.
So
people,
the big thing comes down to what Jesse just said about people liking money and power. Let's say
people like to be able to fuck three hookers at a fucking time.
Let's say you get rid of the government, get rid of the government completely, and let's just go pure capitalism. Pretend the government doesn't exist. It's just a capitalist society. You would still, without regulations, without all this nonsense, you would still have someone
greedy.
You would still have
your
Jeff Bezos.
Children, by the way.
Still have your person who makes $100 billion.
Hear me out real quick. Hear me out. Is there anything that you could do to capitalism to avoid that situation? Anything at all?
Yeah, good legislation.
No, that doesn't fix it either. You still have greedy people.
No,
We're corrupt as a person, not as just a government. We're corrupt as a people and not caring for other people.
So
our founding fathers had it right. You need checks and balances between branches. They legitimately had it right. They go because one could be corrupt. So you
that doesn't
need to
fix
check
corrupt people, Jesse.
Oh my God! But they at least had it right in the beginning.
Right. So hold on.
We didn't follow through on that so much to where we didn't rewrite things to where it fit and adapted to our time.
So we have perfect ideas,
but they had it right because they realized
that doesn't.
Why,
I'm going to repeat myself.
Why else would you think that the founding fathers would create a check and balance system? It's not because they go, oh, everything's going to go right from here. They go, oh no, things are going to go wrong over here, and we need people to be able to speak their mind here. And we need fucking also a third fucking party to also make sure that the other two are also in check. They even went a farther level and said we need 3 that make sure that they're interbalanced and there's a voting process and all this. And it worked really well at the time. But what the problem is our corrupt ass fucking society fucking didn't change that system and found the fucking loopholes to be able to get around and do our fucking bullshit and create the shit that we're in right now, and we never wrote any fucking new shit.
They've always wrote new stuff, man.
We need better checks and balances.
You're right, but they still
need better checks and balances. Is that as simple
fix,
as I could ever put this?
Jesse,
is that we need better checks and balances?
That doesn't fix the people problem.
Yeah, because now
as us as a humans,
people aren't the problem.
Yes, no, there are plenty of people who are
problem.
inherently greedy and evil and will not give to someone else.
People are not the problem. It's the distribution.
So answer what I just said.
People are not the problem.
So wait, you're saying there's
people will always be a problem. People will always be a problem.
It's a product of their environment.
People are not the problem. Because the second you say people are the problem, well then, man, that's a weird thing to deal with. Okay, people are the problem.
Yeah.
I can go a weird way with that. I'm not going to do that.
But real quick, it's a product.
People are not the problem. It's what's available to them from their government, which is what is allowed to everybody else.
A product of their environment is what we are. We're a product of our environment.
Dude, it's a difficult subject. I fucking get it. But people are not the problem. People are not the problem. Education is the problem.
No, and I don't want to go down that road.
Social justice is the fucking problem. Fucking distribution of wealth is the problem. How checks and balances happen within our judicial and executive and fucking what's the other one?
Legislative.
Legislative fucking branch fucking happens. That's the fucking problem. It's not us. It's never been us.
I'm going to fundamentally disagree with you.
Dude, everybody fundamentally just wants to live their life and be okay. It's whenever you drive that fucking individual to the point to where they do some stupid shit, dude, they are products of our society. Coming back
I'll
to
give you that part. I agree there. I agree there.
We create more problems than we can ever begin to fucking solve. And we can't even get back to the basis of it. But then you have these little tucked away fucking societies just being okay with their fucking money as they watch the world burn around them and people suffer, like literal human beings.
That's what I'm saying. Those are people who have an issue.
No, they have no respect for human beings. This is, I'm about to sound like fucking,
if you say
Alex Jones.
If you say effing
right now.
fucking one more time, you're going to take a shot every time you say fucking, bro.
That's fine. I'll fucking do a shot right now. No, it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating that the people that are in power and in charge of this whole thing that literally shape whether or not we get $1,200 or whether or not insulin is fucking, some ridiculous price to fucking stay alive and fucking all this and the world is fucking shit. They're deciding it and they just sit back and fucking laugh because they get it for free because they're fucking, they fucking get it for fucking free. I don't know.
They do. Johnny, what were you about to say?
I don't know. Sorry.
What were you about to say?
I don't remember.
Couldn't polish it off well.
You're about to go into it.
No, mine was just a fundamental disagreement about people, as in people being the issue. As if, for example, if Jesse were to work hard and all of a sudden have $100,
I don't, by the way. I don't.
If you were to work hard and have $100 billion, would you let someone else out there starve?
I don't know.
Wait. Hold up. No, stop real quick. Stop real quick.
Johnny.
Jesse, stop real quick. Stop. You just said I don't know. So yes, people are the problem.
Yeah, but
because you didn't say no, you wouldn't let someone else starve. You said I don't know.
But
which
check
means
this out.
People are the problem.
Can we all agree that it's two things? First being it's a product of our environment.
Yes.
And to build off hold on. And to build off onto that. And we've talked about it many times. I don't know when it started, but there was a mass propaganda campaign that happened to the people of the United States and maybe worldwide. I don't know. I don't live in those other countries. I don't know what goes on in those other countries. I know what my country says about other countries, but that in itself is propaganda.
Yes.
So what I'm saying is the reason that we have those issues and how we can't answer those questions is because it's a product of our environment. And we, in ourselves, we claim that we're not brainwashed individuals, right?
But we are.
Exactly, to an extent. There's still a small part of us. We are, in my opinion, less brainwashed, but yet still brainwashed, buying the new iPhone, buying the Sony TV, still buying from other countries, not revolting and getting involved in our local communities. The things we've talked about. We still refuse to do those things because we are still brainwashed. And I think it's been a part of
I'll never act holier than thou. I'm just as guilty as every other person. That's what I'm saying.
I think the reason that is because it's part of a propaganda campaign that was launched on the United States.
And again,
it could be worldwide. And that is why the way that all this shit is happening. That's the reason why.
It's a weird thing to think that if I was given power and money, that I would mishandle it. And I probably fucking would. That's me being honest.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant when I said people were the problem.
Okay.
Is that we have
It's
flaws.
and
we are humans.
And I get that. And I get that. And I totally get that. So it's rough for me to say that, oh man, I want something better, but I cannot give it to you. If you were to give me the shit, I would fuck it up. It's literally like the Lord of the Rings. It's like the Ring. It's like the Ring, right?
I don't know. You're getting into some other shit right now.
No, this is absolutely what Tolkien talked about whenever he talked about the ring and getting the power, is that you will only misuse it whenever you fucking get it. Totally. I'm a man, and if you give me money and you give me power, I will be corrupted by it.
Jesse, question.
I will be corrupted by it.
And
quote Tolkien on this.
And from what I just said, and for you to
I don't want it.
And for you to lead into what you just said, and we've talked about this many times, is the fact that man is always corrupt. Do you or do you not?
Man is not always corrupt. We're the easiest corruptible
Right.
thing.
But
okay.
But would you not agree that it's a product of our environment based upon the statement that I just said? Propaganda.
Human nature, man, it's weird to think that we are only out for our own survival. And at some point, there's a gray area as far as survival and excess. And it's really hard to establish that shit. So you have individuals who have been divorced, and the woman on one side says, "Oh, I'm used and acclimated to this lifestyle," right? So the same thing happens. Man, I'm going off on a
no,
weird
you were
fucking
making
thing.
sense. You were making this. It could be either or, but then she goes through
It's
divorce
whatever,
court, and then
it's whatever lifestyle that you're acclimated to. So if I become acclimated to this fucking lifestyle, that's my lifestyle, right? I don't fucking know. I need to fucking take a piss.
So real quick, I want to brush up on what he
Human
said about...
beings are not shit. Human beings are not shit. I need to put that in.
We've
there.
said that.
We're
We've
not-
said that.
Alright.
I'm just trying
Anyways,
to figure out.
I want to talk about the fact that you just said survival versus like excess, like having extra. And this is going to be a real shitty random thing to bring up. But like, for example, the movie, I believe it's either called Time or In Time. Great idea, terrible movie. It's got Justin Timberlake. Yeah, Justin Timberlake. It's about, they live in a utopia, or not a utopia, a dystopia, where
Oh,
people
good
have
movie. Good
time.
movie. Yeah.
I think it's a bad movie. I think it's a great idea. I think it's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
terrible
yeah.
movie.
Right.
But instead of money, they all, just for those of you who haven't seen it, instead of money, their currency is time. Everybody's printed with whatever, and on their 25th birthday or 21st birthday, whatever, their clock starts ticking, and they have 1 year. After 1 year, they die. But you can get more time by working. People will pay you time, which is the equivalent of money. Vice versa, you can pay people some of your time and whatnot. And the whole point is, if you were to equate that to the money that we have in our society right now, you have people who would live for 2,000 years while other people die at age 25 when their clock runs up. But there's enough time there for everybody to live between, I don't know, 80 and 150, whatever. I'm just throwing out numbers at this point. And man, that sounds so communist and so socialist, but like once again, what Jesse brought up earlier, the fact that we're already in a socialist government, and if you don't see that, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's been that way for a long time.
But it's just like, you have to, obviously, you want to do well. You want to, what Jesse said, you want to survive. But there is the point of excess where you have to give to other people. And by the way, once again, not acting holier than thou, because I myself own an iPhone right now, and I did not donate to the starving kids in Africa. I am just as guilty. It is a human flaw that is the inherent issue that I don't know if will ever be solved.
Well, I don't necessarily know if it'll ever be solved because, again, I think propaganda has a lot to do with it. I think the world that we live in has created what we're seeing and what we talk about so often. I think that that's been created. The fact that it can be created is scary. The fact that we can be manipulated and we can be, constructed societally to a certain way to benefit a few, I think that that's very scary. That shows how little and insignificant human beings are.
I think the gap should just be smaller.
Yeah.
Let some people live to be 50 and let some people live to be 200, not 25 and 2,000.
Right.
Like just shorten it up a little bit. Like you know what I mean? Like if the CEO of your company is making $43 billion and you're making fucking 30,000 a year, like that's a fucking problem.
And
that is a problem.
Yeah, and it should trickle down in some fashion.
If a company is doing well, you should, and you work for that company, you should be doing well.
And not a millionaire, but you should be doing well.
You should be doing well.
Just however that, and see, in order for that to happen, that involves legislation, and that involves a different.
No, the legislation's not the problem. It comes down to the people, right?
Yeah,
You
true.
have to be a person who, and by the way, I don't know if I could do it. Just like Jesse said earlier, when he said, I don't know.
Yeah.
If I was in that position, I don't know if I could. I would like to think that I could. Every person would
Like, what
likes
was
to
it?
think that they're good inside,
So,
but you don't know.
Like a great example is Jeff Bezos during COVID.
He could give. So everybody who got laid off, it was about 3,500 people got laid off from Amazon during COVID. You really that bored with the podcast right now, Jesse?
No, I'm good. I'm listening. Sorry, I'm a little drunk. Sorry.
So
Continue.
3,500 people got laid off from Amazon during the whole COVID thing back in like March or whatever. Jeff Bezos' net worth, I think, was 116 billion, something like that. Did the math on it. He could have given every single one of those 3,500 people $5,000 to get them through the next month or whatever, and it would be the equivalent of someone such as myself who makes about $35,000 a year giving away a quarter. It would be the equivalent of me with $35,000 a year giving away a quarter to help 3,500 people.
But what's laughable is the fact that when that happened, I think he reached out and then asked people to donate to those employees.
I looked that up later. That's not 100% true. That was like a big scam thing. That never happened. The whole him asking other people to donate to his employees was not a thing.
That's not a thing?
That's not a thing.
Can we talk about how they're able to get away with not being taxed? Because I can go into that.
We've hit it.
As far as intellectual property goes,
we've hit it. They don't pay income tax. Amazon has it in years.
I just wanted to let that number
just
sink.
Just in a short.
I just wanted to let that number sink in for a moment, though. Think about that. If you right now, whoever's watching this, whether you make $60,000 a year or whether you're working at McDonald's and you make $18,000 a year, if you could give away a quarter or $1 of your income for that year and save 3,500 people's or not save, that's an over exaggeration. Assist 3,500 people to be able to pay their rent, be able to pay their bills. By the way, they work for you. They're the ones who made you that money. That part needs to be added in as well.
And we all know robots are replacing humans, so
I mean that's something.
Can I have a little
those
bit
numbers?
of a rant?
Those numbers bother me. Those numbers bother me.
Me too.
Can I have a little bit of a rant, really quick? I broke my fucking ankle after doing a podcast, actually. But I broke the shit out of my ankle. Split that fucking shit. It was on my own doing. Broke it. Fucking went. Had to have orthopedic surgeon fix my shit. Cost me $15,000, excluding like loss of pay, because it took like 3 months to fucking rehab my fucking ankle, which, by the way, I still run just as slow as a white boy you've ever seen with a big belly. Run across the yard trying to catch a fucking baseball. But what really frustrated me is whenever I went to go do my taxes. And there's a portion in taxes saying, hey, did you have any medical expenses? And I was like, fuck yeah, I had some fucking medical expenses, which I paid up front. And I didn't get anything back. No breaks. Owed still to my state. Still to federal. All this. Paid it. Fucking paid that shit. Almost breaking my laptop out of frustration. Because I've been hit with fines because I've never fucking had insurance from Obamacare, ever. Because I'm a libertarian, and I do not believe in the government forcing people to do anything. I believe the government should be out to help people, not force people to fucking do things. Like pay for whatever. You should just give them things because you pay for taxes, and there's a lot of money there that's there. It's a physical resource to help people, live better lives. But whatever. That's neither here nor there. Super frustrated. And then after going through that whole thing, so I paid $15,000 out of my own pocket, no tax return on any of it, and then you see some corporate motherfucker get bailed out. How do you expect me to fucking view how our fucking government handles things? I'm sorry, that's from my shit.
No, that's
like that was my
question.
That was my down payment on my fucking house. That was my fucking future. And you're giving somebody who has so much even more, and I have worked through all this, and you give me nothing, basically. This is my fucking rant. I am completely fucking over this shit. You take so much and give nothing. At some point, people like me start getting a little fucking frustrated. Quit voting for you. Not even showing up to the fucking polls, which I know you don't even fucking need. At some point, though, you're messing with the wrong group. There's too many of us, man. There's too fucking many of us. I don't know.
Yeah, when you put it into a story like that, and just like that's insane, man. Like you pay $15,000 for a hospital bill, you don't get write that off on your taxes, and you still end up owing
They
taxes.
didn't even want me to put me up at the hospital because my credit wasn't even good enough. They didn't I had to pay like a down payment to get the orthopedic surgeon that I wanted. Because I was like, man,
America's
I'd really,
the greatest country in the world.
Hey, I'd really like to walk again. And
America's
they're like,
the greatest
man,
country
you
in
can
the
go to
world.
You can go to a shitty one and then, get it here. I was like, no, I'd really like to know that I can walk again fairly well. What kind of fucking world do we live in? I don't know. And then all of my life savings, literally years and years of savings that, I'd like to have a fucking house. No, it was spent on my ankle. But
so I mean, when we have issues, I mean, sometimes it's accidental, and it is an accident, and injuries happen and stuff like that. But the situation itself is messed up.
I'm sorry. Up until I see true changes, what it is socialism for the 1%, and it's capitalism for me. To where if you fuck up, you fucking fail, you pay for it.
Yep.
You pay for it. The 1%, the corporations, socialism, I get to bail them out. Socialism for them, capitalism for me. Not fucking fair.
That's the one part that I don't understand.
Fuck your fucking
is
self.
that like
I'm over it.
So you've got
I'm
these
over my
giant
government.
you've got these giant companies, the airlines and everything else, and they need to get bailed out because supposedly they can't run off of their savings, off of their backup income, all this stuff. They can't run 2 months. They can't do it. Well, then you did a shitty job of fucking building up some fucking bankroll, and you overextended yourself. So when something like COVID happens, I don't get to, like, I have to fucking go to work. I have to do this shit. I have to try to figure out how to feed myself, my family, my whatever it is, pay my rent and all this shit. So should you. If you didn't set yourself up correctly, that's your fucking fault. So what happens is you fucking fail, and then someone else buys out the fucking company and does a better fucking job. That is capitalism. And that is not what we get.
Yeah.
If I had to pay $15,000, all of my life savings, to make sure that I could fucking walk straight and fucking work again, fucking a CEO can fucking handle the same shit that I fucking handled, but they fucking can't. Fuck them. Fuck them.
I mean, we're gonna leave it off hot, man.
Sorry.
I mean, no, we're close to the end of the hour. I think we leave it off hot. It's a great podcast. A lot of interesting things. I think it's a lot of stuff. I mean, it's similar stuff, but we did hit up some new points.
And by the way,
honestly.
suffering only is suffering for a small portion of time, and then you get to really appreciate life after that. By the way, to all those CEOs out there that just avoid suffering, you just fucking.
When they suffer in their own
bullshit.
demise, we hit that up with Neha. Remember, and I tried to
Fucking
ask her the mindset of the top 1%, but that study's never been done, which is crazy to think, and not
No,
crazy.
once again, we're not some, like I said, there's people who have it worse than me, and you don't see me giving to them. I donate once in a while. It's pretty rare, and I'm not talking about the little fucking McDonald's donation bullshit because that's just a tax write-off for that company anyways.
Right.
But no,
And it's survival, right?
I'm just as guilty as anybody else. You're just as guilty, Jesse, is. We all are.
Yeah. If we were, exactly. And we'll hit that up on another podcast, but I think, Jesse, you kind of hit it right with the bleeding red Republicans. They're not truly bleeding red whenever they're still involved with still buying products from China. I mean, I'm not speaking for everyone, but those we're still
fucking get at it
Hold on.
because it's so intense. No, it's so fucking true. You're red-blooded American.
Hold on. I had it. What I'm saying is, even if they're red-blooded American, we're all still slightly brainwashed in a way. There are some people who are more
Flawed.
brainwashed.
Yeah.
Don't give me your socialism talking about how you fight for capitalism whenever you support these bailouts.
Yeah, no, you hit it hard, man. I just don't want to overhit it.
No, I'm
But
hey, so over that
you
shit.
guys, a great podcast,
So over
honestly.
that shit.
Great podcast.
We're all a little burnt. We watched the Chiefs game today.
Yeah,
You know?
we got. I'm really
Not
hoping
burnt
that,
at all.
I'm really
I'm on
hoping
point.
that we have some great guests coming on soon. I'm in the works, email wise, with a couple of gentlemen that may be joining the show soon. Hopefully, one next week, which is a very interesting topic, something we've never hit ever on Talk Junkies. The second one, hopefully, sometime in January, is going to be the biggest podcast that Talk Junkies has ever done. Still working on those things for you guys. But in the meantime, I hope you enjoyed this video. The best thing you can do for this video, and I should start saying it at the beginning, is one, smash that like button. Not smash it, but just click, left click the like button.
Gently caress it.
Exactly. Just very small like. Hit it hard. Subscribe to us, to our junkies out there.
Stay fly and ring the bell.